Okay, I'm excited for this one because joining us on the line right now is NC State head football coach Dave Doeren. This is relevant to the Vikings, of course, because in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, the Vikings took Garrett Bradbury, a player that our guest today, Coach Doeren, knows very well. Hey, Coach, I know that you're busy, you're on the road, so we appreciate a few minutes of your time. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, you bet. We're glad that you joined us. Coach, you've been at NC State now since the 2013 season. You've been a coach for a couple decades. And looking at your record and where you've been, you've won a lot of games. You've been to some bowl games. And you deserve a lot of credit for that. But if I know coaches like I think I do, you'd say, well, you win with players. You've had a lot of good players in your program. And Garrett Bradbury is one of them. We're very happy to have him here with the Minnesota Vikings. And we're excited to see what he can do to help us win. And I would imagine you're pretty optimistic about him being able to help us.
Yeah, you guys got a great player, but even more so, you got a great person. And we're going to miss Garrett. He was definitely a cornerstone of us building this program here. And tough guy, smart guy, dedicated guy that loves the game for the right reasons and definitely handles himself in your community and, for us on our campus the way that you would want somebody to do that. He is a extreme role model at the highest degree.
Yeah, and I saw that, Garrett came in as a tight end for you initially. Yeah, and I know that you played tight end in your playing days, but eventually you transitioned him to the offensive line, to guard, and then eventually to center. Tell us a little bit about some of the key points in that process and what was guiding you and your staff's decision-making to move Garrett to those positions.
Well, he was a big physical tight end in high school, but also played defensive line, and as you know, he was a catcher and a good baseball player. So he was just a solid all-around athlete that had size. We knew he'd play somewhere, didn't know exactly where. And as he came in, gained weight, and shifted kind of his body into a different position. He actually moved first to defensive line and would have been a good D lineman here. Just ended up in the same room where we had four guys that were drafted, in front of him, behind B.J. Hill and Justin Jones, who are playing in the NFL right now, and just felt like his career would help us faster if he moved to O-line. And so after about, 6 to 9 months as the D lineman, we shifted him back to the O-line. And at the time, he was, going to be our center, and we were able to get a transfer to come in at center, and Joe Selfo. And so Garrett started his sophomore season as our guard and did a great job there and learned a lot, I think. Tough guy, but his mind, I think, was always on being a center. Being a former catcher, he liked directing the pitcher and what happened, in the baseball games, and I think that was kind of more in his wheelhouse, and he really grew in that position because our center here makes a lot of our calls and protections and, has to know a lot about the game of football, and he loves that, the X's and O's part of it.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the defensive linemen that you've had go through your program, Coach. I mean, Bradley Chubb, a first-round pick. You mentioned B.J. Hill and Justin Jones, third-round picks. And Contavious Street was a fourth-round pick, all in the same draft. So Garrett, not just in the ACC playing against your opponents, but every day in practice, Garrett went up against some good players, and I'm sure you saw him grow in that regard as well.
Absolutely. We believe that iron sharpens iron here, and those guys on the line of scrimmage play against really good players every day. Whether you're a D lineman going up against Garrett or Garrett going up against one of the guys you mentioned, it's going to make you better because you get exposed when you're playing against good players if you're not on your game every day.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I know that on a personal level for you, you and your staff, you built, and your family, you build up this program, and you pay attention to these guys, not just as players, but as men. So when they achieve something, whether it's with you, an accolade or a team achievement, or they get drafted, I'm sure for you that's a profound moment. So talk to us a little bit about what it felt like when you heard Garrett Bradbury's name get selected by the Vikings in the first round, because I'm sure for you let that wash over you for just a minute, as busy as you are.
Well, you're just so happy for them. These guys work so hard, and put a lot of time in, and obviously the light at the end of the tunnel is their degree and the possibility of continuing their career. And some of them have the opportunity, some of them don't. And so, I thought Garrett was a first-round pick, and you just heard a lot of talk that he was going to be first or second. And so, for a guy that was the best center in college football and that made himself into that, he's a self-made player, with his work ethic and drive. You're just really happy for him. And, to hear him on the phone when I called him and how excited he was, it's a great moment.
Yeah. Coach, you were 23-4 at your previous stop, Northern Illinois. You're 43-34 at NC State, 66-38 overall as a head coach. A very good record. And I know you're out there right now working hard to keep building that program. I want to give you a chance to let us know what's going on at NC State with you and your program and your school right now as you get ready for another season. Are you excited for what 2019 is going to bring for you guys?
No, I appreciate that. It's been a labor of love here. We've worked really hard to build not just a program you can be proud of, but something that has shown sustainability with 5 straight bowl games, and we obviously want to continue to climb. This is a young football team that we have next year, and a lot of guys that are going to be getting their first opportunities as starters, and so it's exciting. Also a little unnerving at times probably because of how young we are, but we've recruited well. Our foundation is set, and these kids understand what it takes and the kind of work ethic that they need to have to, carry on the torch, really, from what these guys like Garrett and Bradbury that you mentioned have built for us. And there's a lot of guys that have left here in the last 6 years to play in the NFL, and everybody knows how hard they work.
Mm-hmm. Hey, another one is Jack Tocho. We had him here for a little bit, and he was a really impressive guy. So, yeah. So you got anyone else, you send them our way, okay, after next season. We'd love to have some more Wolfpack players on our roster, all right?
Yeah, you bet, man. I appreciate the opportunity, and you guys are going to love having Garrett there.
Yeah, I can already tell that'll be the case, and hopefully we'll talk to you down the line somewhere. Stay safe on the road. Good luck in 2019. We'll be rooting for you here in Minnesota, okay?
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yep, see you, Coach.